Okay, welcome back to 1d8 plus 1 the Lean Orbs. Today I'm going to work with multi-class character. Got some there. In this part of the video, started doing the compression to the Giants video with San Francisco. That game is a preview of the game before coming up. In that game, I wrote it down. Haven't gone to it. I probably will. This is a 2014 schedule for the 49ers, and right now the game I'm about to post tonight is from November 16th, upcoming this year in 2014 for the 2014 49ers schedule. And November 16th will be at the Giants, and it snowed that game up there, so I will be putting that online afterwards. Eventually. Right now, we're going to shoot multi-class, try to understand why multi-class is so different than a single-class character. I will try to remember some of the cuts that I'm not naturally inclined to do. Right here. Let's go with here. This is a PHP book. Let's establish that. And in that shortcut, we established, now taking out the shortcut to know whether it's a PHP or not. Page 59 is a multi-class characters. Right there. There's multi-class characters. And in here, this is class and level features. And that is level of character. Right then and there, here. And class level is a character level in a particular class where characters' levels are all in the same class. Character level and class level are the same. So, single class characters are not illegal. You can keep class levels in there. The difference is hybridization. And that's my air condition over there, and you probably hear it. So. And prepare your eyes for some brightness. Brightness here. Okay, but yet I still need a lamp in here, which I haven't gotten for the shadow in this part here. So I'm gonna go ahead here and write this down. That's a single class character. That's single class. And that's multi-class character here. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at today the Druid, an unusual character start in there. Trivia Pursuit wise, there's classes here. Use this here. There we go. There's classes and a list of classes. And on that right there, it says the first class is a Trivia Pursuit there, which is Barbarian. And the next one is Bard, so that's two classes. And the next one is Cleric. And then the next one is Druid. Some of the classes that are in there along with Wizard and Mage type thing. So, Wizard, Sorcerer, Monk, Ranger, Rogue. And there's two aspects to this. One, we're going to do the Druid class. We're going to look at a Cleric class. That's here. And that's going to be a Fighter. And a Monk. And a Paladin. And a Ranger. And a Rogue. Okay. So now, we're looking at three classes off the wheel. Right there. And looking at the Rogue, the Cleric, and the Druid. In the single class, we're just going to look at the Druid. And in the multi-class, we're going to look at the Rogue, Cleric, Druid, or the Druid, Rogue, Cleric. I'm going to write that down there. And that's Druid versus, now it's going to be A. Or in this case, I guess it's Druid, Rogue, and Cleric. And that's versus just the Druid. Now, versus a branch thing here. Not sure if I'm drawing a branch or decision thing there. There you go. 1 and then 1, taking that type of sense. If that's true, of the decision aspect for a branch, it doesn't look like a branch. And I can't notice that. If that's true of a branch there, decision theory, then the druid only has one branch, and the multi-class character has 1, 2, 3 branches. It's more hybrid, and so since it's more hybrid and more balanced, should come up with a better character. Now in the multi-class character, our theme of the dance, taking that type of sense, is we want to build a druid, one that's a better druid. So druids do nature, so that's nature with the better nature. Okay. So now we're going to look at first level on page 22. And that's page 21, goes on classes right there. And in that's going to be first level character, so we need to write that down. And that's 1, 2, and that is 3. I guess for both of them, taking on these. So for first level here, I'm going to use some dice here. Oh. And we've got a marker and a marker. Probably start with the same thing. And that's here. For the multi-class character, we're going to start with Druid. So that's first level here with the 1 ST. So that's 1 ST, that's first level. And from that, here and here, we're going to... Now normally I don't look at this sequentially, but it has become kind of an interesting coinkydink. That is Animal Companion, Nature Sense, and Wild Empathy, going back over to first level. In that first level, they also do spells. First level spells. So now that's a first level spells, and they do 1 on the chart, 1 per day, unless they have a wisdom bonus 1. And do I have that? Do I have that? That's here. And that wisdom one says to turn to, it's 189, that turn to page 8. Right there. And this is on page 35, so that's not page 8. And then that's your first chart here. The table 3.8 is your first chart. And that's table 3.8 is A, and table 1.1 is B. That's 1 and then 2 choices. So you have actually 1 spell per day per level type thing. That's 1 and over 1 type thing there. And there per day. That's 1 next to the wolf. That's page 8 with the 14 wisdom will give you another 1 of first level. And that is on page 8. And that's 1 plus 1, that's equal to 2. So in that, that is clear there. That's 2 spells per day at first level. And that was that level, still in that first line there. And so you get 1 from the chart going over to first level, plus the bonus 1 on page 8, while still being at first level. The bonus 1 is just adding an extra. So now that's original, and that's bonus, and it's adding a bonus to your original 1 of 1 plus 1 to equal 2 underneath first level spell. Okay, now that's 1. Now that's Animal Companion, and Animal Companions are wolves here. That's on page 35. And in that, that's here. That's in like an owl and pony in that line there. And that's the Animal Companion on page 35, right then and there. And there should be pony, snake, small, medium, viper, or wolf. And with the wolf, you go to a PHP plus monster manual. This is a monster manual. And you're going to go into the back here. And that's page 283 of the monster manual. And you're going to see a wolf. That's the wolf's hit dice, starting hit dice. And right there is skills, abilities, saves, skills, feats, abilities. Strength 15. Right there with Dex 15, Con 15, Strength 13, Dex 15, Con 15, Intelligence 2, Wisdom 12, Charisma 6. And those abilities with the strength match up here in the back of your book. With strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, just like a character sheet. I don't normally do that, taking that type of sense. Again, because of the global ability of it. Even though it's under abilities type thing, 1 is strength, 2 is dex, 3 is constitution, 4 is intelligence, 5 is wisdom, and 6 is charisma. I try to show how many abilities, which are 6 abilities. So that's 6 abilities. And up at the top here it says ability name. Okay, so now in that you would have to write that out for the wolf, but I don't want to get sidetracked just of yet. So it's animal companion, and we're going to go back to page 35 and nature, sense, and wild empathy. And that's nature, sense, and wild empathy. Okay, wild empathy is all these things are on the chart. That's nature, sense. A druid gains +2 bonus of knowledge, survival, knowledge, nature, and survival checks. Wild empathy, a druid can use body language, vocalization, demeanor to improve the attitude of an animal, such as a bear or a monitor lizard. This ability functions just like diplomacy check made to improve the attitude of a person. See chapter 4 skills. The druid rolls a d20 to add to a druid level. Enter a charisma modifier to determine the wild empathy check result. Typical domestic animal has a starting attitude of indifferent, while wild animals are usually unfriendly. And that's on page 35. So we got to turn in skills here, and that's the mage, and that's 61. That's page 61 there. That is skills, and that is the skill modifier, which is a very difficult thing to do here. Okay, now it says D20 plus skill modifier, and I will probably get into this later. But this is a D20, the skill modifier is an X, so it's D20 plus X. So now we have to solve for X. X here in the parentheses says skill modifier, which is going to be treated as X, is equal to skill rank. So your skill points, and plus ability modifier, or ability mod, and skill points there, plus your miscellaneous modifiers, like a skill focus. And in that, let's see here. Okay. So now, once you do all of this, then you can plug in for this. So now, if you get skill points type thing, you turn back to page 22. And on page 22, that's 4 class skill ranks on the top there. First level, 0 experience, 4 class skill ranks, and in that, cross class 2 with feet first. That table has a funny listing. It's table 3-2, experience, and level dependent benefits. Then, squished in there are the column headings 1, A, B, C, D, E, and F. So that class skill max ranks is just a column heading, but it's not the table heading. So now that's column heading versus the table heading. So that's heading, and that's heading, and that's B, and those are the same, like that. But A is column over table, and those are different. So from that, that's there, and we took a level of in first level of the multi-class one there. Now, first level of a single class is going to be animal companion and nature sense and wild empathy. Okay, now in that, there's a lot of confusion to looking outside of sequence, and that was wild empathy, which is a diplomacy check. Oh, didn't finish looking that up. And that's here. That's page 72. And at the bottom here, influencing NPC attitudes, going from top all the way down the page, same thing. And they say usually start out indifferent or unfriendly, and that's up at the top here. And then you can look that up. DC is going to be equal to make helpful as DC 50, difficulty class 50. Typical DCs are listed on page 64 up at the top here, and that is here, right there, and that's on page 64. And if you turn the page to 63, you'll find a handle animal going up to table 4.2 skills on page 63. Okay, now we looked at that. Oh, gotta go back to wild shape, and that's here. Wild shape doesn't look like it's anywhere listed type thing. We just covered wild empathy. Wild shape is at 5th level here, and it's once per day. And from that, wild shape is on page 37. Here's the fighter. Then you go over here to the top, and that's resist nature's lure. And let's see here, there's wild shape right underneath it. Shape is different from empathy. Shape here, and supernatural ability at 5th level, druid gains the ability to turn himself into any small or medium animal and back again once per day. Options for new forms include all creatures with the animal type. See the monster manual. This ability functions like the polymorph spell, except as noted here. The effects last for 1 hour per druid level or until she changes back. Changing form to animal or back is a standard action and doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity. The form chosen must be that of an animal the druid is familiar with. For example, a druid has never been outside, a temperate forest could not become a polar bear. So in that, that's the same influencing attitude. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. That's polymorph on page 263. And that's here. And spell functionally alters itself, except that you change the ability of the subject into another form of living creature. New form may be of the same type as the subject or any of the following types: and aberration, animal, dragon, fey, giant, humanoid, magical beast, monstrous humanoid, ooze, things of that nature. So now we're going to turn that off, and that's awfully close to taking that type of sense. That's again A, that's wild, and that's wild here. And then B, taking that type of sense, is empathy, and that's shape. Now, empathy starts with EMP, and that starts with SHA. So now E, M, P, S, H, A. So now, even though the wilds were the same, in the B column, empathy over shape was imp over sha, and those are different things. Those are different words. This one's a D20 diplomacy here, and this one's a polymorph spell. This one was on page 72, and this one was on 263. Those are both the same pages. Okay. Which are not the same pages. That's the difference between empathy and shape. This one actually alters self in it, and diplomacy alters the body language type thing or the attitude of the creature. So now that's shape alters self. That's here, to a maximum of 15 hit die 5th level. You can't cause the subject to assume a form smaller than fine. Upon change, the subject regains lost hit points if you're restored for a night. Healing does not restore temporary ability damage. Subject gains the strength, dexterity, and constitution scores of the new form and retains its own intelligence. Here. So this one is different from the wild empathy. Gain the strength type thing. So the first one type thing in a sense was strength, dexterity, and constitution. Or the second one was. This was in friendly and different. Indifferent on the top one there. Just like that. And that was the empathy one. And this is the shape one. And unfriendly is the same, and indifferent is the same as strength, dex, and con. Now the diplomacy chart says DC, and then it says helpful here. And from that, that's 5-0. So now the DC, the difficulty, that's D, and C, that's a class. Here, the DC is equal to 50. In that type of sense. Just like that. So a DC check with your DC D20 plus 4 type thing, there's no way to do it, so it probably won't change their initial attitude. Okay, we're way off type thing in a multi-class character, but we're getting back to it. Now, we gotta go back to that. Alright, now from that, that's here, that's green for special, taking that type of sense, and that's red for spells per day. Just like that. That's a 2-chart table of abilities to spells. And that means now, even though they've got Animal Companion and Wild Empathy, they've got a first level spell coming to them as well. So that's a Druid, table 3-8. Going over to spells. And that's here, that's here, and that's Druid spells. Now from Druid spells, there, there's page 189. And in that type thing, page 189, that's second level Druid spells. That's first level Druid spells, and that's good in that type of sense. So we said we had a first level Druid spell, which was Calm Animal, Charm Animal, Cure Light Wounds, Detect Animals, Detect Snares, Endure Elements, Entangle, Fairy Fire, Good Berry, Hide from Animals, Jump, Long Strider, Magical Fang, Magic Stone, Obscuring Mist, Pass Without Trace, Produce Flame, Shillelagh, Speak with Animals, and Summon Nature Ally 1. All those things are part of first level spells. Alright, now both characters get that. Okay. So now in that here, in our spells, we'll call this A, call this B. Then we're going to do spells, and then A and B under Druid, taking that type of sense, they're going to both get Shillelagh, which is here. Okay, now we took first level in both there. Okay. Now that's second level and third. First, second, and third. Now we completed first level. That's what we just did here. Now we're going to go to second level. In a multi-class character, we're going to go to second level. And that's 1,000 experience. And in that 1,000 experience, we're going to use that level to take Rogue. Now that's a cool ability taking that type of sense. And in that, Rogue has got Sneak Attack and Trap Finding. Trap Finding and Sneak Attack are literally nature spells, which they are. So, like Shillelagh or Animal Companion taking that type of sense, Animal Companion is a nature thing. There is nature. And Sneak Attack is also, you can turn the page there. If a rogue can catch an opponent when he's unable to defend himself effectively from attack, she can strike a vital spot for extra damage. So that's an extraordinary ability that is nature related. So it's nature in that type of sense. Sneak Attack in a rogue is usually involved in the city. So it's not really a nature ability in that means. So for that class, I'm not going to put it, even though it does help a nature person. I'm going to say that that city thing, if this is nature, and we're doing better nature, and a rogue is associated with the city, but now they're out in the nature because of their rogue, their Sneak Attack ability here is really not a park ranger ability of education. It's more of something of a city thing or assassin or a cut purse thing, which still makes it helping the first level of druid. So that's still right. So that's Sneak Attack. And that's D6 and Trap Finding. And that's there. So now, that counts the second level of that. Okay, now with the Sneak Attack or Trap D6 plus Trap Finding, that Sneak Attack plus D6 and Trap Finding there, taking that type of sense. That's a level that's in Druid, taking that type of sense with the city. I am not going to label that in that. It's helping a Druid level, so it is still specifically Park Ranger, watch a fountain thing, or Grand Canyon tour. It's still the same thing as it was as the first level because it's helping that level with Sneak Attack. And it's literally a nature ability. So Sneak Attack is going to get a green marble or green die, and in that type thing, it is a nature ability on top of the nature sense ability. Now, that's Sneak Attack. And in that, that's an Animal Companion in that means. Okay, Now, that's an animal companion and a sneak attack. And in there type thing, that's an animal companion there, and in that was one level there in that type of sense, and then this is going to be one level here, and this is going to be Woodland Stride. Okay, now this Woodland Stride is still a first level spell in that type thing. First level spell is 1, 2 away from a second level spell, and second level character is 1 away from a second level spell. So in that type thing here, this is, at this point, you're 2 levels away from a second level spell. And now you're 1 level away from it, taking that type of sense. This person, from a second level spell, he is 1 level away as well. Which they're not, because this didn't count as a level type thing, and to cast second level spells as a druid, second to 1, over through trackless step to third, and that means, which means they've got 1 druid to third, they're 2 levels off still from casting a second level spell. About equivalent. Okay. Now on that type of thing, and we've got Animal Companion, Nature Sense, Wild Empathy, and Animal Companion, Sneak Attack. Okay, now a third level. Second and third to 3,000, and now that's 6 and 3, taking that type of sense. Okay, so now it's third level with 3,000 experience, and that's third level taking that type of sense. Alright, now in that it says 3 RD in the first column up to level taking that type of sense. And that's third level. Okay, so now I want to put down another marker for third level right there. Now I'm going to go to Cleric, page 31. Okay, here. That's Druid. And that's Rogue. And that's Cleric. From Druid to Rogue, now we're going to do Cleric, thinking that means. And from Cleric, that's first 1+1 is 3, turn and rebuke, 2 0 2 0, then first level taking that type of sense. First level of Cleric. So now I didn't cut up any paper to do this. and we will here. It's 1, 1, and 1. And in that 1, so 39%, you have third druid. You have 3 levels to 39%. That's 1, 2, and 3. So in that, we'll come back to that. That's 3 levels to 39% here. And so we're going to go to cleric, and cleric as the first level over to first here. And that's cure. That's a first level to 39%. And that's cleric. And spells off of table 3-6. So that's cleric spells. So with cleric spells, that's first level cleric spells. That's Bane, Bless Water, Cause Fear, Command, Comprehend Languages, Cure Light Wounds. And Cure Light Wounds can help out in nature. And Comprehension Language, Cure, Detect Evil, Detect Undead, Divine Favor, Doom, Endure Elements, Entropic Chill, Hide from Undead. So all these things are nature spells. Essentially, because sometimes nature ends up with undead. So it's a nature listing or technique. And that's page 183 for cleric spells. And that's 189 for druid spells, but both of them are the same. So that's 183, 189. The 1s are the same, 8s are the same, 3 over 9 is also the same. And so from that, that's Cure Light Wounds. It's not, in my opinion, a nature spell type thing. It's its own ability. That own ability type thing there is still helps nature type thing in that type of sense. So now that's noun, which is nature, and helpful type thing in that type of sense is the adverb or adjective on that. That's A, and B type thing in that type of sense. Therefore, anything that's helpful automatically is nature in that type of sense. So nature is B, and that is nature, and anything helpful next to it is also nature, same thing right then and there. And I don't believe that's the case. That's outside of it type thing, so it can't be nature. So that means it's attempting to help nature with a nature technique. With a technique outside of nature. So Cure Light Wounds is a helpful technique outside of nature, which means it is not a nature ability. So now we take this green one away here, and that's blue here, and we covered up that level. So that's 3 levels there for the multi-class character. And now from that, take thing that means we got to do third or single class. And that's trackless step. And in here, that's trackless step. That's 2 first level spells and 1 second. And from the 1 second, that second level spells here. Animal Messenger, Animal Trance, Bark Skin, Bear's Endurance, Bull Strength, Cat's Grace, Chill Metal, Delay Poison, Fire Trap, Flame Blade, Flaming Spirit, Fall Cloud, Gust of Wind, Heat Metal, Hold Animal, Owl's Wisdom, Reduce Animal, Resist Energy, Lesser Restoration, Soften Earth, spider climb, summon nature ally 2. And the 2 goes with the 3rd level spell because it's right above the 3rd. Summon Swarm. 2 is back on the other side of the page from 190 back over to 189, which is a 2nd level spell, which that's where it belongs. Summon Swarm, tree shape, warp wood, and wood shape. So in that 2nd level, that's bark skin, grants +2 or higher enhancement to natural armor. That's bark skin that grants +2. Bark skin toughens a creature's skin. The effect grants a +2 enhancement bonus to the creature's existing natural armor bonus. Its enhancement bonus increases by 1 for every 3 caster levels above 3rd to maximum +5 at caster level 12. The enhancement bonus provided by bark skin stacks with the target's natural armor bonus, but not with other enhancement bonuses to natural armor. A creature without natural armor has an effective natural armor bonus of +0, much as a character wearing only normal clothing has a natural bonus of +0. And that's on page 203. Then, don't know what that exactly meant, but I think it gives them a +2 at the 1st level, right then and there. So now, in that one, they pick up a 2nd level spell, 1st level spell in 1st, and a 2nd level spell in bark skin. Now the person who had 1 level in that type of sense is 3. And that's hard to do. Now, that's 1. That's 2. And then that's 3. And that's 3 levels of a character. That's 3 levels of a character to trackless step type thing, 3 overall. But that really isn't. Because on page here, page 22, that's the 1st table and the 2nd table. That's 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. That's 3rd, taking that type of sense, to 3,000 experience. That's a 3rd level character. But from that, only 1 level of that was Druid, taking that type of sense. So even though you only have 1 level of Druid in there, you override it with your overall character from page 22 over page 35. So that's 22 over 35. This page said you had 3 levels, but you had broken up your 1, 1, and 1, which is also 3 levels type thing, and that's where you get ripped off. That's your Druid level right there, taking that type of sense, which you only have 1 of, but you had 3 overall character levels type thing, so the 3 overrides the 1, and on page 35, you look up 3 levels of character in your multi-class. But you look up 1, and the first one's got a dash for 2nd level spells. Now the one for 3, taking that type of sense, had 3 over 3. Those 1 plus 1s is only 1. It's 1 plus 1 plus 1. And that's 3. Which, that's how you add that up. And in that, from there, taking that type of sense, the 2nd character, this was 3 over with the 1 taking that type of sense, but this is 3 over 3. So the 2nd character, the B one, actually looks up 3 levels. this character looks up actually 3 levels in this one, goes over the trackless step, and it's got a dash underneath this one here in that type of sense. It's got 1 and 2. So now dash or 1. And in that, that's Shillelagh, not Shillelagh and Barkskin. That's a 2nd level spell. So this one at 1st level, it's 1 and dash, and at 3rd level, it's 2 and 1. Just like that. So now, from that, even though these are both 3rd level characters type thing in that type of sense, they both do put different stock together for that. Here, that's 1, 2, and 3 levels, and 1, 2, and 3 levels with the trackless step, and bark scan, and actual 2nd level spells. This character, first one, can do just 1st level, and this one can do 2nd. And that's 1st and 2nd next to each other. And in that, this character here has got more nature-related abilities. Now, from those 3 levels, here, this is the character here. Does have sneak and cure light wounds, but those are outside of nature. And the person who stayed boring stayed within nature and picked up Woodland Stride, Trackless Step, and Bark Scan, even though they don't have any other cool abilities to match the cure light wounds and sneak attack. And that's because of the way that they broke down their level, which is the same thing. They took Druid and Druid both stayed in nature. This one took Rogue, which stayed in nature, and this one stayed in Druid. This one took Cleric, which stayed in nature, and this one took Druid to think of that type of sense. So the single class character versus the multi-class character, the single class character stayed with nature type thing and ended up with the 3 levels that was given to it, in that from the multi-class character actually ended up with 3 green nature compared to the multi-class character which equal 1. Even though this is a cooler character, this one's more steeped or stemmed in nature abilities, hence the Woodland Stride, Trackless Step, because it took more levels in nature and got more techniques out of those nature levels to be nature related. And it also picked up the spell Bark Skin on top of that to go with their Trackless Step and their Woodland Stride and your Animal Companion, Nature Sense, and Wild Empathy. And that is not a superior character of multi-classing by belief, but it is out of effect as far as what you can do, what you can't do anything to. So, but you can start from the beginning and realize that a multi-class character is better than the Druid character of a single class or their non-necessary single inclusion. But I believe it actually is, unless somebody else intimidates you to otherwise believe, which is what their betterment right is. Thanks for listening to 1d8 plus 1 Lena Orbs and Dimming Sage Block 9, and have a great one out there.